Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Martin. I am the author of the book Relationships Suck, or Maybe It's Just You. This is a copy that I have right here in my hand. It says down here, A Failure's Guide to Successful Relationships. Now, I am that failure, and this is my guide to you having a successful relationship, be it romantically or with friends, work colleagues, whatever. Now, it applies to every relationship that exists. Now, just for the record, I am currently on vacation in Thailand. I am recording this from my hotel room, so there is going to be some background noise, perhaps some traffic noises, and my fiance Shang Wei, who you'll hear about when I talk on this podcast. She's sitting right over there, out of view from the camera, but she might get up and walk around and forget that I'm recording, and that's okay. That will happen. But what I want to do with this podcast, Relationships Suck, or maybe it's just you, I'm going to start by just reading the book. Each episode will be a new chapter. All right. So I'm going to start right from the beginning, going from the title through the table of contents, the foreword, all that stuff. So you get every aspect of the book. And as I read it, I may stop and give my own commentary, maybe make some clarification. Who knows? We'll see what happens. We'll just play it by ear. But I will need my glasses for this, and I'm not going to be reading from the actual book. This is version number 1. I have recently updated it and made some changes, corrected some typos and grammatical errors. So I won't be reading from the physical book here. I will be looking down and reading from my iPad, which has the newest PDF on it. So let's get started, shall we, without any further ado. The book title is Relationships Suck, or Maybe It's Just You. And again, already I'm going to take a failure's guide to successful relationships. I'm going to take an aside here. I was obviously talking about me when I say, or maybe it's just you, looking in the mirror when I wrote this title by Steve Martin. That is me. All right, now the dedication. 2, first and foremost, I want to dedicate this book to Shang Wei, the love of my life. You are a constant source of inspiration. You encourage me. You support me. You make me want to be the best man I can be. My love for you grows stronger every day. And as I said, she's sitting right over there, but she's listening. She got her earbuds in and probably can't hear what I'm saying. Next paragraph. As strange as it may seem, and to quote Willie Nelson and Julio Iglesias, I also want to dedicate this book to all the women I've loved before. Every woman I've ever had a romantic relationship with has taught me something about myself, about love, about women, and about relationships. I truly am indebted to you all for the education that has made me the man I am today. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your forgiveness along the way, and I'm sorry I hurt you. Table of contents. Okay, so the foreword, why I wrote this book, followed by disclaimer, who I am and what I'm not. Next chapter, simple versus easy, they are not the same thing. Emotions, men and women are more alike than different. Honesty. It is not the best policy, it's the only policy. Sex, no matter what you might think, it's never casual. Cheating, just don't do it. It's not worth the trouble. Relationships are not 50-50. I don't even know what that means. Relationship myths, don't believe everything you hear. Love is not enough. It's not true what the movies say. Winning isn't everything. Choose in advance that your partner wins all the fights. It works. And finally, final words. I have to end this book somewhere. That's your table of contents. Okay, let's just jump right into the foreword, shall we? Why I wrote this book. The title of this book is obviously meant to grab your attention. It reflects what I think a lot of people have said and felt in their lives, along with my beliefs of who is ultimately responsible for said suckiness. While I don't actually believe that all relationships suck, I most certainly have uttered those words on more than one occasion with regard to more than one relationship. Yes, indeed, relationships can suck for sure, but they can also be the most wonderful things we experience in life. And their sucking or succeeding really is up to you. You see, relationships are living, breathing entities that require the same attention to care as the individuals involved. Why am I writing this book? My inspiration for writing this book came at a time when I found myself sailing aimlessly around Asia during the coronavirus pandemic of 2020. I had joined the ship in November of 2019. Now, 4 months earlier, in July 2019, I had been working on a cruise ship in the Caribbean when my partner at the time, whom I considered to be my wife, suddenly and without warning broke up with me via text. I was shocked and completely blindsided by it, so I decided to go home on compassionate leave to try to salvage the relationship. Unfortunately, it could not be saved. At the time, I was devastated and thought it was terribly unfortunate. In hindsight, it turned out to be exactly what I needed. I learned a valuable lesson about myself and relationships in the 4 months I was at home between ships. That lesson stayed in my head for a long time. When I rejoined the ships again in November, I did so for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I needed a job, but that was not my number one reason for going back. I also needed to escape the circumstances of my life and all the negative bullshit I was dealing with at home. At the time, the loss of that relationship was no fun at all. But as I look back on it now, it was very necessary for my personal growth. It revealed to me the weaknesses in my thinking that I'd been operating with my whole life. It also showed me who my real friends were, whom I could trust and whom I couldn't. It was a very eye-opening experience and time. In November of 2019, I got a position on a ship out of Shanghai, China. My goal was to go there, do my job, and work toward a promotion. I had no desire to start a new relationship. I wasn't ready for one. Besides, I knew that most ship relationships don't work or don't last very long. Everybody is on a short-term contract and is usually from another country. So just as things get serious, someone's contract ends and they leave. Now, these ships might look big when you're standing on the pier looking up at them. But when you work on one and get into a relationship that ends up not working out, they become very small, very fast. I'm sorry, I digress. Where was I? Oh, yes, I wasn't looking to start a relationship. I wasn't even interested in casual sex, which is very unlike me. Not that there were tons of women throwing themselves at me. I was 50 years old when I joined this ship, and the ships, as far as casual sex is concerned, is a young people's game. Unless, of course, you have 3 or more stripes on your shoulder and a really nice cabin with a window. Perks get, well, anyway, you know what I mean. Where was I? Right. So, long story short, when the coronavirus hit, I, like so many others in the world, suddenly found myself without a job and therefore no income. I had to do something, not only to make money, but also to keep myself occupied while sailing around the oceans for several months. I've written before, but they were plays for the stage and children's books. I've always wanted to write a book, like an instructional book like this one, because I feel like I have so many ideas and I love to teach and share my knowledge, but I'm a terrible procrastinator. More to the truth, I'm an excellent procrastinator. I do that very well. As it turned out, while on the ship, shortly after we stopped taking passengers, I met someone and fell hopelessly in love. Again. But this time I was determined to get it right, and I told her so. We had so many conversations about relationships, marriage, kids, friends, etc., and all the things I was going to do differently with her than I had done with my past relationships. And one day I just said, I'm going to write a book about this and sell it online. Because no matter what is going on in the world, we are all in some kind of relationship, and we could all use a little help sometimes. It would definitely keep me busy. Hopefully, I'll sell a few copies and make some money. But most importantly, maybe, just maybe, what I have to say will make a positive difference in someone's life. So here it is. So who is this book for? My original plan was to write this book specifically for people in romantic relationships. But As I began writing, I realized that a lot of what I talk about could be applied to any relationship. The lessons you will learn will help you with your romantic partner for sure, but also with your friends, family, co-workers, and complete strangers. Obviously, there are some chapters, like the ones about sex and infidelity, which only apply to romantically involved individuals. If the chapter about sex does apply to you and your siblings, you may need professional help that I can't give you. May need. I'm sorry, but you definitely need some professional help. This book is for people of all ages. You're never too old to learn new concepts or just be reminded of what you may have heard before but haven't yet put into practice. During the writing of this book, I turned 51 and 52 years old. Procrastinator. And I'm now just feeling like I know enough to finally get it right and have a successful relationship that will last me the rest of my life. So I would really like to see young people read this and avoid the many pitfalls I faced throughout the years. It's far better to learn while you are young and just starting out so you can experience more years of happiness and fewer years of pain and heartache. You don't have to make your own mistakes in order to learn. You actually can learn from others' mistakes. So I implore you, read it and do the things I did, that worked out, and avoid the crap that doesn't work. It's never too late. Wrong! Sometimes it is too late. Don't let the relationships you really care about get to that point. Try some or all of the things you'll read about in the following chapters and try to have at least one really great relationship before you die. In fact, why don't you read it with your partner? Better yet, buy them their own copies so they can mark it up, make notes, and go at their own pace. Okay, so briefly, who am I? I'm a regular guy who has had a life of success and failure in every kind of relationship imaginable. I'm not an expert at anything but ballroom and Latin dancing. I'm a pretty good actor and a playwright, among various other skills, and I am for sure a very observant person. And though it's taken me 50 years to learn the lessons I teach in this book, I don't regret for 1 second where I've come from and what I've been through to get here. I am by no means perfect in any way. That will become abundantly clear to you as I share the personal failings that have taught me along the way. I will be completely transparent with all my shit, I promise. Now, a quick thank you. I'd like to thank every person I've ever had a relationship with. That's a lot of people, so I won't name them all. Every romantic or every romance, friendship, business relationship, and even encounters with strangers, good or bad, have taught me something. Without all the trials and triumphs, coupled with a willingness to learn, I wouldn't know all that I do, and I'd have nothing to share. So thank you. Just a little side note here. I'm going to stop reading for a second. I just want to let you know that I don't edit my content. I'm not going to go back and edit these little places where I stumble over my words as I'm reading. What I might do is I might go and re-edit the book, because if I'm stumbling over the reading, then it means it's maybe not that easy to read. So I might do that. But I believe in authenticity. And it's not because I'm lazy and I don't want to edit these videos. I don't mind. I could do that. I've done lots of editing in my past. But the idea of being authentic, this is what life really is. This is how life works. When you make a mistake, you accept it and you move on. We don't get to edit our life on a daily basis. We don't get to walk into a situation with our partner, whether we've had a good day, a bad day. We don't get to say something stupid, then walk out, cut, edit, paste, blah, 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 come in, do it again as if it never happened. That doesn't exist in reality. So I'm not going to allow it to exist in my podcast, in my reality. I want to be completely, truly transparent, authentic with you, my listeners and my viewers. And I will endeavor to do that with every response to every comment. I will do everything I possibly can. So that whole point to say that I don't edit. So I'm going to stumble over my words, and that's just what you see is what you get. That's the way things work. Okay, so where was I? Back to reading now. Okay, so I'd especially like to thank all the women, and there are quite a few, all the women I've had romantic relationships with who endured me for a time and taught me so much. A special thank you goes to my ex-wife, who perhaps suffered the most emotionally speaking, though it wasn't all bad. We had 5 beautiful children and countless good times in the 18 years we were together. She is a special woman with whom I've had a love-hate relationship with, even after we were separated and divorced. We've been friends and we've been enemies, and I love her dearly to this day. Anyway, thank you to all the women who have shaped me and helped me grow. You know who you are. I know we had a lot of fun for a time and then it ended. It most likely ended because I did something stupid and hurt you in some way. For that, I sincerely apologize. Maybe after I make $1 million selling this book, we can all get together and celebrate. Or maybe not. Thank you all. Believe it or not, I still love each and every one of you on some level. So, any final words for the forward? Enjoy. I sincerely hope you find something in this book that will motivate you and help you to be a better partner. Use what speaks to you and leave what doesn't, until it does. Take your time and really let this stuff sink in, but don't take too long. You really don't want to keep bouncing from one failed relationship to another or continue to spin your wheels in a relationship that seems to be going nowhere but down. You have all the power to change the direction of your relationship. The power is in you. I mean, don't even bother trying to change the other person. It doesn't work. You can only change yourself. Apply the lessons and knowledge from this book for the sole purpose of you becoming a better person, and just sit back and watch your relationships thrive. If your relationship doesn't get better after reading and doing what's in this book, then your problems are bigger than I can handle and you need professional help. It is possible that you're so fucked up that you really should be single and shouldn't be dragging some poor innocent person into your miserable reality. Get help. Then read this book again and start over. I believe in you. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Now, one final thing. I didn't use an editor for this book. I wrote it myself, and I've been purposely repetitive with a few key ideas. I try to write the way I speak. However, unlike speaking, writing sometimes comes with typos. I've done my best to read and reread this book several times to eliminate all typos and grammatical errors, but I may have missed a few. So if you find, when you're reading, if you find a typo or grammatical mistake, please forgive me in advance and feel free to send me an email so I can make the necessary corrections. None of us is perfect. We could all use a little help. I'm no different. I would love your feedback, positive or negative. My email address is, and I'll include that somewhere on the screen here. Also, with every read and reread, I think of something else to say and I want to add to the book. I fear that if I keep rereading it, I'll never finish it. So what you have now is the final revision of my book. Now you can go have fun and enjoy the journey. So that concludes this episode of Relationship Suck, or maybe it's just you. I read through the dedication, the contents, and the foreword. In my next episode, I will be covering the chapter 1, the official chapter 1, which is disclaimer, talking about who I am and what I'm not. So until then, I wish you all a good day wherever you are in the world. Enjoy what you're doing and with whom you're doing it. That's what this is all about. Be the best you can be for the one that you love. All right, take care. I will see you soon on episode 2.